Hey there, my name is Joe, and I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Karuna Health. Thank you for making time to check out our demo. Today, I'm going to walk you through what we've built so far, and also show you some of the features which we're rolling out in the months ahead in close partnership with our early customers. Karuna is a fully HIPAA-compliant, cloud-based software suite for care management teams that does a couple things differently. The first is that it makes it really easy for patients to get in touch with the care team and for the care team to reach out to patients. We do this by making sure that patients don't have to download an app or go to a website. Instead, we've made it possible for them to chat with their care team using exactly the same tools they already use with friends and family, from SMS to voice calls to WhatsApp to Facebook Messenger. The next thing that differentiates Karuna's product is our singular focus on automation and data integration. We've built Karuna from the ground up to integrate seamlessly with your existing data systems, whether that's your EMR, a local health information exchange, ADT feeds, or any other data store that supports HL7 standards. Over the months ahead, we're going to be leveraging Karuna's ability to integrate with your existing data and workflows to automate away a lot of the work care management teams currently do that is relatively low value or repetitive. Our goal is to make sure that every member of your care team is operating at the top of their license and has all of their time freed up to build deeper and more impactful relationships with the patients they serve. What you're looking at now is the login screen for Karuna's platform. Every organization gets its own cloud-based platform that they can add any number of collaborators to. Those collaborators are typically primarily members of the care management or case management team, but can also include others involved in the patient's care, no matter where they're stationed. That could be anyone from a volunteer in a food pantry to a specialist at a local clinic. So the first thing we're going to do is sign in and go to the dashboard effectively for the user. So for the moment, imagine that I am a case manager and I'm now looking at my panel of patients. You can see that my patients are split out into those that need attention and those who are stable for the moment under the heading Everything Else. The goal of this screen is to help me figure out as quickly as possible what needs to be done for everyone that I am primarily responsible for. So in this case, you can see that Michael Porter is at the top of the list and that there's a red dot next to his name. That's a part of our notification system, which helps you figure out whether or not something needs to be done. If you scan along the row for Michael Porter, you'll see some important information about him, like the last time he was contacted, the members of his care team. And then you'll see that under the column heading Tasks, there is another red dot next to one task which has been marked as overdue. If we click through to that, it's going to take us directly to Michael's patient profile. And if we scroll down, what we'll see is that we've been directed automatically to the task list. And we can see here that the task which appears to be overdue is to check in on Michael's foot pain with a red dot just to the left of the task description. Before we dig into tasks, I want to show you a little bit more about the patient profile above. All of this data is automatically pulled from the EMR. We're able to integrate with any electronic medical record or database system that supports HL7 standards and can also do custom integrations with flat files and manual uploads if necessary. The information that we pull from the EMR is a little different depending on the organization, but overall we try to get all of the important clinical context that one needs to do their job, in addition to demographic and other information about the patient. So you can see under clinical, we have information about current medications, allergies, the patient's conditions, their goals, as well as social determinants of health. Let's scroll down again to see the tasks and double click on the one here around checking in on the patient's foot pain. We can see that this has been assigned to a member of the care team and that this individual in particular, you'll see that my mouse is hovering over his face, is responsible for making sure that the task gets done. Every task has an assignee, which might be the patient, it could be the care team, and an owner. The owner is effectively responsible for following up. They're the person you go to on the care team to figure out if what needs to be done has been done. If you wanted to add a task, there are a couple different ways to do that. One is to do it semi-manually by going to the Add Task modal. Here you'll see on the right side that there's a bunch of important contextual information to help you figure out what needs to be done, or really just to make sure that you don't have to swap back and forth between the task modal and the patient profile, or for that matter, between Karuna and the EMR. So here you can add a task, you can assign it to different members of the care team, you can change the priority, set the due date, and so on. One important thing to note is that we have a sophisticated templating engine, which allows your organization to create a library of its own tasks so that you can search through those and minimize manual data entry. The next thing we're going to look at is the communication functionality. Now, this is the part of Karuna that has already been built out and is being rolled out with our early partners. If we go back to Michael Porter's profile, you'll see in the top right that there's a button to view the conversation history. What's so special about this is that from the patient's perspective, they don't have to download an app, they don't have to go to a website, they don't have to try and log into a patient portal. All of a sudden, they're able to stay in touch with the care team in the same ways that they already stay in touch with friends and family, over SMS, over phone calls, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and so on. There is no technology that they have to get familiar with. This is just another number in their contact book or another friend on Facebook. From the care team's perspective, we aggregate all of those different communication channels in a single place and make the experience of engaging with patients, regardless of how the patient chooses to be communicated with, consistent and highly usable. You can see an example here where presumably the patient and the care team have been going back and forth on ways of finding cheaper medications. You can see that we're able to support read receipts depending on the channel. You can also get additional information about how the patient is communicating with you. Here you'll see that this was a text message, you'll see when it was received, and you can also see which members of the team have viewed the message to make collaboration really easy. If you wanted to respond to the patient in this case, we provide you a whole variety of tools to make that really, really low friction and highly efficient. I'm displaying some of those to you now, including snippets, which are basically templates that your organization can create and share, and have auto-populated from information in the patient record, both for one-on-one messages and then also for bulk messaging. You can see that we're alluding there also to automated modules. This is a sophisticated part of our tooling that allows you to hand off between the care team and the computer, so that parts of the conversation which can be easily automated can be handled by the software alone, and you can just be brought back into the loop when you need to escalate the conversation or the computer isn't quite sure how to deal with things. We've also made it really easy to add attachments like files and images, to change the channel through which a message is being sent, to schedule messages to be sent later, and to collaborate with the rest of the care team by adding tasks, setting the urgency of a conversation, adding follow-up reminders, or triaging, i.e. forwarding messages to other members of the care team if you as an individual aren't fully qualified to deal with the issue at hand. One thing you'll notice about all of the different lists we have, so the patient list, the messages or conversations list, and the task list, is that they come complete with powerful tools for searching, for filtering, and for sorting. The goal here is to make it really, really easy to collaborate with everyone else on the care team. So if you wanted to, for example, see tasks that were assigned just to you, or to another member of the care team, or to the patient, or for that matter, tasks that are overdue or that haven't been started, we make that really easy for you. And you'll have these tools at your disposal on every single list. So if you're trying to intelligently filter or sort through patients or conversations or tasks, we've got native, really, really easy to use ways of doing that. Before we wrap up, I wanted to call out a couple things which often come up in our conversations with partners. The first is that everything in Karuna integrates directly with the EMR. We're able to pull clinical information you need so that you don't have to hop back and forth between the EMR and Karuna's web app. And we're also able to write back information from Karuna, like proof that you've been communicating with patients, so that you don't ever have to double document things like encounters. The next is that our communication platform is completely HIPAA compliant.
Under HIPAA's omnibus rule, if you collect consent from the patient, you can then communicate with them over any channel that they request, whether that's SMS, WhatsApp, or carrier pigeon. So all of the different communications happening through Karuna are completely HIPAA compliant and as secure as they can possibly be. The final thing to note is that we've built out the platform with NCQA guidelines and Medicare chronic condition management billing requirements in mind. All of the information that you need to go through an audit, to be compliant, or to bill various payers in your payer mix is embedded within the Karuna platform and can be exported with a single click. What we've built so far today has been the communication platform. We see the ability to engage with the patient in extremely low friction ways as arguably the most important foundation of a good care management program. The easier it is for the patient to reach out to you when they need help, the more likely it is that you will be the first place they go when something is wrong, which earns you the right to guide them to the right care at the right time, to boost patient satisfaction, to improve health outcomes, and ultimately to reduce the total cost of care of your population. In the months ahead, we're going to be working really closely with a handful of early partners to develop the rest of our care planning, assessments, enrollments, and other tools directly related to care management programs so that Karuna can become an all-in-one platform for managing the relationships you have with the patients who are most in need of your services.